Hello, Mr. Riem. It's great to have you here for an interview. What is the primary mission of the World Federation of International Music Competition, and how has it evolved over the years?
The World Federation of International Music Competitions is an organization of 120 music competitions around the world that aim for artistic excellence, for equality, for fairness, for non-discrimination, and for outstanding organization. We try and learn from each other. The small competitions, the new competitions, try and learn from the big ones, and the big ones learn from the small ones, the innovative ones, the new trends that are evolving. And the Federation is at the center of that, trying to bring all these people, all these competitions, all these trends together.
And how does the Federation ensure fairness and transparency in international music competitions?
Fairness is very important to us, and we look at regulations over and over again. We have statutes that regulate what competitions can do and cannot do. We cannot be a competition police. We cannot punish a competition for doing things one way or the other, but we try to mediate and we try to help young artists if they run into trouble, if they think they have been treated unfairly, to resolve these cases and try to learn from them rather than to judge about a competition and bring them in a bad light. We try to use it as a positive impact on our work.
I see. And what criteria must the competition meet to become a member of the Federation?
That's not that easy, actually, as you would think it is. We get inquiries more or less every day. I would say 3-4 inquiries per week of competitions that are interested in joining. You have to have a certain standard. You have to have held 2 editions of a competition. You have to follow many rules. You have to have a final round with orchestra. You have to have an international jury where a majority of the jurors is from a country other than the country where the competition is being held. We look at the price level, we look at the number of applications and many other factors before we evaluate a competition, before we approve an application and then give it to our General Assembly, meaning that any new member application will be voted on by the entire group of competitions before they become part.
Something more general, what role do international music competitions play in shaping the careers of young musicians today?
They can make an important impact on careers of young artists. It's always been like that. It's been easier in the past. In the past, you could win one major competition and you would say your career is being made. That is, of course, no longer the case. It's become much, much harder to compete in the world of classical music today. But competitions can be an important factor to widen your audience, to create a general interest in an artist, to bring about new opportunities, new concerts, tours, recordings, etc. And we are trying to more and more diversify what competitions have to offer for young artists. It's not just winning 20,000 euros and saying goodbye to an artist. It's the time after the competition that actually really matters. What can a competition do for an artist after the competition in order to help his or her career to really take off? So a competition can be a very important factor in a young artist's career.
So do you would say that competition are still the best way to build a career?
That depends on the artist, and of course there are many artists that become really famous and have never won a competition, but there are a lot of artists who won and used their prizes one way or the other to get their career moving, to get on a certain track, to do tours, to do international performances, to do recordings, to get in contact with a recording label, etc. So there is many doors that can open through winning a competition.
What are the biggest challenges that music competitions face today?
Well, we have a lot of music competitions in the world, especially piano. There's more piano competitions than any other category, and I think it's probably over 10,000 in the world today. So to really stand out, to really make a difference, competitions have to be really special. What difficulties do they face as any cultural institutions, as orchestras, festivals, concert halls? Competitions are also influenced by the economic situation, by growing audiences, by audiences getting older, and all these factors that make classical music a profession that is becoming more and more difficult. And competitions are not any different from other organizations in that field. But I think that competitions, because of their unique structure, because their festival-like atmosphere, where people really can see a variety of musicians of very different qualities, of playing different repertoire, this makes a competition really, really exciting also for an audience. And there are competitions, take for example Hamamatsu in Japan, the piano competition. From the first day of the first round, they have their hall sold out. The Chopin competition in Warsaw, it's a national event where for a month all rounds are sold out, and you cannot get any tickets because people are fevering. They want to know what's going to happen, who is going to succeed, who is going to move up to the final. So it's a very, very exciting thing, very exciting element, adding to it being just a concert or just a classical artist performing. It's many different elements come together to make a competition very exciting for the audience.
How does the Federation adapt to trends like online competitions and digital auditions?
COVID has changed our way of looking at certain things tremendously. And we had, during COVID, several competitions that were held entirely online. However, after the pandemic, we discussed all these issues thoroughly, and we found that nothing can really replace a live performance. And even though certain elements are still being used in today's competitions, so there is hardly any competition that is not using an online preliminary round, we all ask our members to have at least 1 or 2 live rounds as part of their competition. We do not have members that are entirely online. We do not believe in an entirely digital project.
What do you find most rewarding about your role as Secretary General of the Federation?
That's an interesting question. People often ask me, what is it actually you're doing in your job? It's a very busy job. We have 120 members on all 5 continents, and we do a lot of communications, marketing, promotion, artist support, conferences, publications. So the most demanding thing is maybe to keep everything under control, to really not forget about another competition having started before the last one has even finished, to really equally treat the small and the big ones, the important ones and the less important ones, and really take care of all the laureates, be in contact with them and not lose them somewhere in the wild pool of artists, to really watch them, to really listen to them and to present them not only as part of the competition where they take part, but also in our Federation media.
How do you see the future of classical music competition in the next 10 or 20 years?
I think we've survived COVID, and we are more popular actually than before COVID. And I think there's an element in a music competition. We've just talked about it before in the seminar. Competitions are very, very old, and they've already existed in ancient Greece, and I think they will survive the next 20 years. There is a very exciting element for the audience in a competition, and that will remain the same no matter how competitions are going to change in terms of size or standard or the way they're being held. Competition is always, it's a natural impulse and of people to compete against each other, even though you cannot really say artists compete against, I don't like the word competing against each other, but the idea of bringing different artists together and trying to make the best possible music is something really exciting and something that would always excite audiences.
One last question. If you could change one common misconception about music competitions, what would it be?
There is still a lot of people saying, there is this competition going on now and 70% of the participants are from Asia. They all can play great, but they're all not making music. They don't have the same education. They don't have the same cultural understanding as we do in the West, in the US or in Europe. It's quite hard to believe that there is still a lot of people who say that, and it's really something that we want to make away with. We really want to encourage people to look at an artist as an artist, not as a personality of a certain country or with a certain passport. We would like to ask people to listen to an artist, to their music, and then judge their personality and not judge people based on a prejudice about their nationality or about their color of skin or the way they are dressed. I think this is a problem we have in many competitions today, and it's something we keep working at, that we want to really treat people fairly and to have audiences listen openly and fairly to all competitors the same way as the jury does.
Thank you very much for this interview, Mr. Riem.
Thank you.